Hey everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you from a wet and wild, windy Philippines at 1 a.m. in the morning. What am I doing up at 1 a.m. in the morning? I'm speaking to someone on the other side of the world in California. We've got a lovely gentleman on the line today. We've got Jason Elkin. And Jason Elkin's a founder and CEO of quite a few different companies, mainly around the entertainment industry. That's a big one. And he's also very heavily involved in the wine industry from Napa Valley, and he'll tell you more about that. So his industry basically is beverage and tech media entertainment. Been doing this for over 2 decades, but always independent since 2014. Brief description: custom beverage development and distribution, as well as tech media entertainment. Leverages industries and platforms to support marketing, cross-promotion, large-scale controlled markets and sales. I believe I'll be able to provide future requirements to the DTC and business to business with a digital marketplace that support redemption and fulfillment. I've achieved this by creating new business models that alleviate much of the traditional requirements and cost to operate. In other words, you can operate meaner and leaner, guys, which is a big thing in the entertainment industry. I've also focused on obtaining more value than any others by leading by example. The key projects at the moment: intellectual property expansion for brands that represent massive communities, cultural groups, and geological footprints that have not obtained representation. So here's the man that's going to do that. These can be festivals, holidays, monuments, celebrities, and corporations expanding their brands. His personal motto philosophy: it's my signature. I never pray for good things to happen. I pray the things I do are great as they happen. I sincerely paid it forward and have sacrificed everything to redeem my harvest. It's pretty cool. I love that. So it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Jason. How are you, my friend?
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jeff. Pleasure to be on. And just
No
like
trouble.
yourself, yeah, good morning or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in right now.
Well, I'm not sure. I've been upset. It's 1 o'clock. I'm not sure if it's evening or morning. It's morning, I guess. Let's get this started. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to be so successful and pursue your current career path. Where did it all begin?
Wow. Well, growing up in industry, sometimes they kind of choose you, and I don't want to say limited, but your surroundings might support immediate opportunities, especially when you become responsible for, subsidizing your livelihood, and as your families grow. And so I grew up in Napa Valley, and that's where I'm located. It's 10:21 a.m. where I'm tuning in from. And, I've had the opportunities to represent every position and title in the industry. But previous to my position in the wine industry, I was a professional choreographer and dancer. And I traveled the world choreographing and, with Tommy Tune, 𝐂𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐳, 𝐉𝐚𝐬𝐿𝐽𝐬, Janet Jackson, Deborah Gibson. But that was a young business and profession, but I never lost passion for it. And my personality maintained that presentation, and it supported my other business and ventures, such as, leaning into the wine industry, where I found another opportunity to perform, another stage. And
Yep.
I'm now kind of aligning and bringing them all together. But my beginnings were humble. I started after taking every job title and responsibility, and convinced the second oldest winery in Napa Valley to allow me to take a chance on their established efforts, cost, time, licenses, and all the things that you need that are extremely expensive. And, I took out a $10,000 credit card, fingers crossed, and brought a brand to market. And we did over $1 million within 2 months and a week, and took the valuation of their property 4 times, and they exited. And that supported the launch of the real business, which I'm pushing forward in now with all these additional tools and assets.
That's the way to do it. Tell me, what's been the biggest challenge with your work, and how have you overcome that?
Trying to introduce, the advanced features and functionalities of the future requirements to complement or succeed in a saturated industry. People don't understand or believe it till it's there. So basically, being a one-man cheerleading team for myself until the proof's in the pudding, and then hurry up and wait. A lot of times people, they're not everybody desires to be as qualified as the requirements to be part of something like this. And to be quite honest, you probably know this as well. There's a lot of life experience, to be capable of being required of managing operations and projects at this level. And a lot of people, I just believe that a lot of people wouldn't allow themselves to be in that uncomfortable of a position for that long of
Yes.
time. And, a lot of the lessons I had to endure to be qualified, I personally wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
how much, how much can you believe in yourself, the faith, the project, and how much can you endure?
That's right. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. It's really that simple. Mindset's such a powerful thing, isn't it? Such a powerful thing.
Very
Right.
much so.
Um, tell us, um, tell us about an important moment in your career that changed your direction. You went from the dancing and singing and that type of thing. What happened then? What was that pivotal moment?
I think taking myself more serious, I've realized in life that most people don't have a first chance, let alone a
Yes.
second chance. And,
Uh-huh.
I take myself seriously. I think a little bit of maturity. I think a couple of those hits, disappointment, growing a family, being
Mm.
in a position to endure more responsibilities outside of your own financial means and positioning. And then once people believe in you and trust in you and, depend upon you, it's outside of your own responsibility anymore. You don't have the option to fail. There's only one option,
That's
and
right.
that's where I'm
Go
at.
forward.
And
Yeah.
it's no longer for my own personal gains. If I'm breathing, I'll hit every level of achievement that I suggest, and I have that track record. And so that's where I'm at now.
That's
We'll
it.
get her
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
You're a man with a plan. Tell me, in your opinion, what are the key qualities or skills that have contributed to your amazing success along the way?
Intentional effort behind providing more value in every consideration, being prepared, recognizing what's the existing leading example on the market in the industry that you're pursuing or trying to be part of, alleviate the excuses,
Yeah.
and intentionally educate yourself more. It's not about the 1, 2, 3s, ABCs, schools, and that type of stuff. You can learn a lot intentionally on your own. ChatGPT is a great friend. You can use YouTube.
Absolutely.
Ask a lot of questions, being humble enough, to grow. Um, None of the stuff, that has advanced me in my industry was I wasn't, I didn't, there wasn't a course for it. I was going to school,
Sure.
nothing that I have now that I use in my industry that's powered me to my current, capabilities was taught in a program that I learned in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Love it. Tell me, how do you stay motivated and, as you do, continue to innovate in your field as you've done?
Little steps, because you start here, you see this, and there's a lot of in between. There's a lot of compliances and things that you can't control. So recognizing, celebrating the small steps, choosing one day and prioritizing one thing, at a time into the project, and eventually the next day will get easier. The next day something will introduce itself. It's just providing the steps that you need to pursue. If you look at all of it and you look at the end, it's extremely intimidating. But if you chop it up and break it up and you
That's
prioritize it,
right. Nice. I
completely
like that.
digestible. It's completely digestible.
Like a bit like eating the elephant, isn't it? Rather than trying to eat the whole
Yeah,
elephant, one spoonful at a time.
start with the tail, man.
You sound like a man with experience. Um, tell us about a recent project or achievement you're particularly proud of.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a lot kind of, everything kind of happened all at once, and,
Mhm.
and some of my projects and ventures took a couple years. We
Yes.
represent undeveloped, unmarketed communities, cultures, like, native Indian casinos. The Philippines, we have two major brands of which I feel are the most important, valuable brands for the country. One of which is, attached to representing the third largest religious statue in the world, and it's called Tower of Peace, Mother of all Asia,
Mhm.
and it's comparable to the Great Wall of China, in its origin of representation to a monument. And we represent the expansion of wine for that presence, and we have distribution through every church. The second is Senator Manny Pacquiao, who just recently fought at the MGM the 19th of August, who's launching his own wine brand in partnership with us, House of Pacquiao, and we're celebrating a harvest party for him coming up this summer, and
Awesome.
whatnot. And so I think it's some of the brands that I was able to represent. I went from wanting to do something to representing two and some of the most important brands in the future, that will be on the market, that will be internationally renowned and recognized.
Yeah. Well,
And
you certainly
that
got you got a good brand behind you there. By the
Well,
way,
those are helpful, but I mean, to the Philippines, because I know you're there. So I just, my focus is next generation consumers, urban markets, and Asian markets, not limited to, but specializing in. So we have a special, position and heart for the Philippines for sure.
Yeah, we're wonderful people. That's why I'm here. Tell us, what advice would you give a young version of you, a 20-year-old version of you? What would you tell him?
Man, respect your talents.
That's right. That's a good one. Very good.
Respect your talents. Like I said, most people don't get a first chance, let alone a second chance. Respect your talents.
Yeah.
It's easier to maintain and manage what you got than to try to get it back. You know what I mean?
And I'd say get a mentor. You can shave 5 and 10 years off the journey by talking to people who've already done it. They've made the mistakes that you're about to make.
Yeah, amen for that. For sure.
Nothing wrong with getting a mentor. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future? You've got some pretty lofty ones there.
Yeah, well, currently we're doing a real estate play here in Napa Valley, and we're expanding some of the brand positioning. I also own a brand that's the club of clubs for the inner industry of hospitality and wine. So it doesn't just represent wine and a couple bottles being shipped out every other month. It represents the connection between lodging, transportation, excursions, the casinos, hot air balloons, the wine train, wineries, and it's called Napa Royals. And we're expanding that branded presence into a internship for live-in intentions that introduces a wider curriculum, not limited to just wine, but introduces the entirety of the responsibilities so that an entity can become a manager and or a business owner and merchant in this industry at the end of it. And so we're creating the Napa Royals Academy at the Napa Royals campus. And so that's a major project that we're in the midst of right now, in addition to expanding our marketing requirements. We're launching this gamified streaming platform, which I believe, you need marketing just like yourself.
That's incredibly exciting. Yeah.
And that'll expand the reach of marketing, and it's gamified, so we can do redemption and fulfillment nationally and even internationally with high risk and low risk licenses and appropriate Web 3.0 marketplaces.
You don't need 15 minutes of fame. You need 15 hours. You've got that much happening. It's awesome. What a wonderful adventure you're on. You told us about the future. What's the best way for people watching this podcast and listening? What's the best way to reach out to you and find out more about your upcoming ventures and how they might be able to help each other? What's the best way? So much.
And I'm also wanting to know what everybody's doing too, because part of my advancements is I've paid it forward. I've helped a lot of people to become qualified so I can redeem what I need at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what goes around comes around.
Yes, sir. And so, Trend King _ is my social handle on social media. But, Trending Beverages is the company and corporation that has all the licenses. And we're not limited to just wine. We do beer, spirits, caffeine, coffee, water, kombucha, alcohol-free, even infused for that market. And then Napa Valley Distribution supports the distribution, and Trending Entertainment does the marketing. But, if you just even simply look for the hashtag Trendpire, TRENDPIRE, Trendpire. It'll tell the story. It'll give you the cheat codes on how I got here and the examples, and it'll give you a lot of the preventative measures and warnings if you're willing to watch.
Fantastic. And also, you're quite popular on LinkedIn, I believe, right?
A little bit, yeah. I've done a lot of business. I'm probably more famous on LinkedIn than some of the social platforms, and I've really, professionally leveraged it, and it's been a good tool for me for sure.
Yeah. So, guys, there's the offer. Reach out and have a chat to Jason. It costs you nothing, and you never know what you might be able to help each other with and learn from each other. So, feel free to reach out. And before we wrap it up, tell us a fun fact about yourself, Jason, that most people don't know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I guess I could just continue. I used to be a professional dancer, which most people wouldn't, think. It actually helped me in my sports. I was a teacher approached my mother when I was young and offered free dance classes because the students, the females, needed dance partners, and it would be complimentary. So my mom heard complimentary, probably thought it would wear me out, exert some energy. And I thought it would be a good tool because at this time, the 49ers were taking dance lessons. Awesome. And I thought I could impress my older brothers, in BMX and football with this tool. And I got better at football and I got better at BMX, but I got really good at dance. So I started choreographing the cheerleaders and ended up playing football all through high school. So that's an interesting fact about me.
Pretty cool. So, guys, if you want your 15 minutes of fame, just like Jason here, every man's got a story, and Jason's got an incredible story, so reach out and have a chat to him. But, guys, 15 minutes of fame, think about it. A TV commercial, Jason will tell you, set you back about $30,000. And while it's on, people might go to the toilet, grab a beer, grab a hot dog, whatever, and miss the whole damn thing. 10 radio spots in your city is going to set you back $3,000 to $5,000. And what's going to happen? You're going to play them at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when people like me are probably up, but most people are asleep, right? So, guys, come on, 15 minutes of fame. It's there for you. Come out, spread the word. We put you across all the social media platforms and put you in front of hundreds of potential clients. So there's the offer, guys. Come on, 15 minutes of fame and become more famous than what you already are. Jason, you've been an awesome guest, my friend, and please keep in touch.
Oh, I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you, Business Guru. I really appreciate the port and the introduction of, who we are and what we're doing here in our industries. Thank you.
No trouble.